Hello, and welcome back to the Plateful Pod. I'm your host, Chris Davis, and I'm here today with Charlie and Matt from Cawsburger. Well, thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
I wanted to just get to know Cawsburger a little bit more, hear about your story, why you started the place up, how's it going, industry trends and things like that.
Nice one, yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. Let's start off talking a little about yourselves. Charlie, if you want to go first.
How I got to here?
Yeah, just a bit about you. Yeah. Hopefully the guests can sort of learn a bit about you.
So I always joke that I've always had an itch to have a business or an idea or something. So yeah, always coming up with ideas as a kid through my early adult life. Never really settled into a job. I was a personal trainer, then I was in sales, and that itch has now finally been not fully itched, but it's getting scratched at the moment. So yeah, so that's kind of what I was always like, yeah.
Yeah, nice. And yourself, Matt?
In fairness, quite similar in respect of dotting around through jobs. Before this, I worked with people with autism. Did that for 10, 11 years. So, but always been keen cook. And yeah, so when this opportunity, which God didn't ever realise it would ever turn into this kind of opportunity, turned up a couple of years ago to do the little pop-up at Groundworks, snapped it off and...
Oh, nice. Oh, is that so? That's how it started. So you did like a pop-up at Groundworks.
Yeah. So Charlie, I think it was Ben from Groundworks, got in contact with you about a special burger for their menu or something. Was it March?
Oh yeah, I had
2020.
I had a food blog, Food Locker, and Ben wanted to do Ben at Groundworks, a couple of doors down, really good coffee shop. He wanted to do like a one-off night with Food Locker, and I was like, I've been chatting to this guy Matt about doing burgers, because I'd been going to London for 3 years, eating really good burgers in London, and was just a bit sick of that kind of burger being around here. So we spoke about doing. You were looking to open up a brunch spot.
I was looking at opening up a brunch spot. I never would have got off the floor, to be honest. Never would have. It was an idea that I was very, very glad when I sacrificed that to.
And then we had a night planned. We'd done a bit of research on burgers. We played around a bit, but that came afterwards, really, didn't it? We invited some bloggers down, and we're going to do a burger night in Groundworks, and that was the night that lockdown hit. So we cancelled that.
28th, was it 28th of March?
28th of March. 26th. They came over to try some burgers, didn't they? But the next day was the main event, and we cancelled it because lockdown hit. So, and then that kind of ended there, and it wasn't until I got put on furlough. You were still working.
I was still working.
And we spent about 3 months chatting about it. You were going to the
I bought a cheap griddle on Amazon.
100 quid griddle.
100 quid. Yeah, 100
garden.
Quid. We're just doing burgers in the garden. Going down to Chapman's Butchers, which is still where we get our beef from. Trying out blends.
I was driving over to yours in Biggleswade, wasn't I?
Yeah, just driving up to mine and
nice. Just cooking burgers.
Just trying them in the street.
I didn't go in his house, I promise.
Which seems silly now when you've heard all the stories since, doesn't it? We were eating burgers on a back road. Yeah,
you were cooking them in the garden. We were photographing them at the front, and then probably about 3 or 4 months in, because obviously you're still allowed to do takeaways, weren't you? We contacted Groundworks and said, look, can we use your kitchen to do some takeaways? And they did it through their website, and it was pre-orders, isn't it?
Pre-orders.
And I think it sold out. All the slots Friday and Saturday night sold out in about 5 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And
then after that, 3 or 4 months after the initial try.
Yeah, and then we were doing that once every 2 weeks.
Once every 2 weeks.
Moved to them weekly.
Weekly in October when I quit my job.
Yeah.
I think
I was still on furlough, actually. Yeah.
You were still on furlough.
Yeah, and then eventually,
I never got to enjoy furlough.
I didn't actually. Yeah.
Well, I can't knock COVID or furlough, because it gave me an opportunity to build this. I think it gave a lot of people opportunities to reevaluate their lives and what they want to do. Yeah. And then I got made redundant in April when after lockdown ended. I got made redundant, and then that's when we went like full steam ahead.
Full steam weekly.
Yeah.
Added Thursdays in,
and then started thinking about having our own place as well.
Yeah, really interesting story how it came about. So you did test bed, I guess, using Groundworks for takeaways, and then obviously it just got really popular, so you just carried on. And then at what point were you like, actually, I think we need our own place?
I think people just start. It was after the world went back to normal, and the pickups were.
It was, you said there was a dine where you were being paid to dine in restaurants, and we were still operating as a pop-up then. But
our slots weren't selling as fast because people had gone back to their normal lives. They didn't want to pre-order. They didn't want to pre-order food.
Restaurants.
Yeah.
And we were just like, right, this is the time. And then we had the time, and we were like, right, we've got. I think before we even served our first burger, we had a couple of thousand people following us on Instagram because we were just posting pictures of burgers. By the time we opened up this place, I think we had about 15,000 followers before we opened up our first restaurant. So yeah, it helped having the. So we're all forever grateful for Groundworks for giving us that opportunity.
Oh,
just going on to your followers, what would you think your success was getting 15,000 before you opened?
I think we kind of we're on it at the right point when food blogging's taken off massively now.
And we were at the start of that really 4 or 5 years ago.
Like now to go viral, you have to be doing something completely different and find a niche. Back then, you could it was that point where you could post a really nice burger picture and you'd get 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
We post a nice burger picture now, we get 100 likes. So so we kind of were in the right point of Instagram, of being a really good free marketing tool.
Yeah.
I think if we started now, it'd be a struggle.
Yeah.
We're 3-4 years ago when it was really, it's quite, if you've got some good photos on there, you got some traction on Instagram, and it was just really good burger shots. Yeah. To be honest, that's what did it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Shame that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. Tell me about the name Cawsburger. How did that brand come about?
You already had it, didn't you? In theory.
Well, we had two options. Bun Direction was one. But that was shut down. But we asked a few people. I thought it was quite good. And then, funnily enough, Matt and I, not as Welsh as you, but Matt and I's family is Welsh.
Yeah.
I'm quite a patriotic Welshman myself, and obviously, it's Caws, which is Welsh for cheese. So, but everybody, we were calling it Caws. Everybody was calling it Caws. Your granddad's corrected you.
He did one day,
saying it was Caws, but it was kind of like I joke that we're the Nike of the burger world because they're going to be called Nike, but everyone calls it Nike. So so Cawsburger. We do get, if we have a Welshman come in, we get corrected at the till and say, you do know it's Caws. But it translates to, and the reason we went for it is because it obviously translates to cheeseburger, and at its simplest form, a really good cheeseburger. Even all our crazy specials, the middle part of that burger is just a really good cheeseburger, and that never changes. And we've got on the new menu, we've got a new house burger, which is just a classic cheeseburger with our burger sauce and nothing else, and we want to celebrate it in its simplest form.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we've worked hard on that sauce for the last couple of years as well.
Yeah.
So. Is that like a secret ingredient sauce?
Our house burger sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, it is good now.
It's pretty special. Yeah.
Just going on from that, the menu development. So I love the jam and peanut butter burger. Like honestly, it's no joke. It's probably, I'm not just saying this for the podcast. It's probably one of the best burgers I've ever had. I absolutely love it.
Hasn't on in a while.
No, it hasn't.
You did this 1 week special, and I literally came here just for that during the day. I was like, I've got a bit of a break. I'm going to have this burger. How do you come up with the ideas? Like, what goes into developing the menu? Is it based on like what trends are happening, or is it just a bit of like you kind of?
It's a bit of all sorts of things. To
Yeah.
be fair, isn't it? Like the PBJ, I just But the reason it went on the menu is because I randomly made it in the back of the garden, brought it out to you.
And that's when peanut butter was.
And there was peanut butter. Yeah,
Peanut
something
butter
like
trend
peanut's done
again.
in
It's
really
a
good.
massive trend. Peanut butter's still flying now. So,
It worked. You put it on socials. Worked.
Again, and it's different. And it's different as well.
It's a different thing. You still don't see now many people doing that.
Yeah.
And it was a good seller.
I think we kind of look at what works with beef as well, especially for the beef burgers. We look at like classic beef dishes from around the world and how we can turn that into a burger.
Yeah, fun. There's a few still sitting back to do as well.
Yeah, and then also we liked a big part of the brand is playing on nostalgia. I mean, nostalgia is a powerful thing. Because the whole part of Cawsburger is that food should be fun. Like the reason you eat out of baskets. We've got the yellow boards like this, the yellow brandings, like kind of McDonald's kind of vibes, and taking you back. Because I always joked our house cheeseburger takes me back to being a kid in the back of my parents' car. Yeah. Having it, scraping out the onions and the gherkins with a chip, and then eating it. And we play like fun music as well. So with the menu development, nostalgia. So like we've got
Kiev. Well, you got Kiev fries, for instance. Isn't the most Kiev fries based off of chicken Kiev that you'd have when you were younger? Carbonara, based off of a carbonara, which again a nostalgic meal. Yeah,
I grew up with the Kiev fries because once a week my mum would come home, get some chicken Kievs out the freezer, or if I was lucky she'd bring some fresh ones from Marks and Spencer's, and then with some chips, and we're like, right, how can we put this on some fries? We got chip shop curry fries, because as a kid you always went to the chippy and you got curry fries, and it might not be the fanciest thing in the world, but it doesn't have to be fancy for people to enjoy it. Kind of differently trends, nostalgia, lots of stuff on how we come up with the ideas.
And since then we just experiment with things. Like, we've both been active, especially myself over the past couple of years, far more active in the kitchen, become a better chef, which then just continuously lends yourself to new things to try and do, which have to be kept under wraps sometimes because they go a bit mad. Go a bit mad. But,
I do love the nostalgia. Now you've called it out, it's like, oh yeah, everything that you do say, like the Kievs, the chips with curry sauce, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, even this place has been based off of like sort of a posh diner, it's a
posh diner,
everything's just.
But it's also got a little bit of like it's a refined McDonald's vibe as well, with the colours and the boards and the tables. That's a massive thing. We think that's probably like the most as I said. Food can be taken quite seriously sometimes, and I think food and music are two of the most powerful things to take you back, like, to happy memories. We try and we play cheesy bangers in the restaurant. Well, if the staff aren't. Depends who's on the phone. But if you're sat eating a burger that takes you back to being a kid and also listening to Britney Spears "Hit Me One More Time," it's quite a powerful tool.
You mentioned earlier about getting your beef locally. Can you tell me your approach to sourcing ingredients, particularly on the focus on your products?
So the beef, comes from Baldock, so it's just a couple of miles up the road. We've worked with Phil since we opened. Mainly on the best of that was the fact that it's quality beef, and also as a pop-up, we never knew what we were going to need. So working with a local producer was the best way to move forward, and it just turns out the high quality of the beef spoke for itself.
And the benefit of that was relationship as well. If we were getting beef from a wholesaler, we wouldn't have the same relationship. Like Phil does extra things for us.
We'd be one of 600 people of something coming down from Sheffield, and if we needed more, you'd never be able to get more. If you had, I change our orders daily. Our meat comes in daily. It's freshly ground. Again, so you don't get beef that's sitting. In restaurants do. You have to have meat sitting around for 3-4 days if you order from a big company, and you have to have the storage. This is quite a small restaurant in the terms of what it is. So we can't have 600 kilos of beef sitting there for 2 or 3 days, and we wouldn't want to because it wouldn't be at its premium. Also, with the locally sourced, we avoid wastage because of it. So we get bits and pieces in, obviously quite large orders, but we do refine them back, and there's a local greengrocer just 5 metres away. So I'd rather go and get those couple of onions or those chives or carrot for the slaw from him instead of ordering in Kenyan carrots that have been sitting on a freight for 3-4 weeks.
It's nice to have that, like, supporting local businesses, I guess. You're a local business, they're local businesses, so actually you all like buying off each other kind of just makes sense and helping out each other.
It does.
You are dictated by what's available as well. Like in a dreamland, we'd love to get our buns from the bakery down there. We'd love to get our cheese from there, but really good burger buns are very hard to, like consistent burger buns are very hard to come by. So we get them from a bakery in London. If we could get one of them locally, and there was, we would. Other ingredients, again, there's lots of ingredients we'd love to get locally, but it's what's available and the quality and obviously the price as well. So they're kind of dictated by that. But yeah, in a dream world,
more enough now as well.
Yeah.
More enough over the past couple of years where those margins are a harder thing to find with the increase in costs. It's easier to make.
And also being a burger restaurant, I mean, we try to keep as premium as possible, but if we were a like Two Rosette pub, it might be different. We might source our olive oil from a farm down the road, but yeah, we cook in such large volumes. We go through how many litres of rapeseed oil a week in the fryers? Like 150 litres?
150, 160 litres of oil.
It's not something we can just have a little bit from a local farm or stuff. So so it's difficult.
I think you mentioned earlier just a little bit around the wastage and stuff. That leads me on to kind of sustainability. Using local, you said, helps reduce the waste. Is there any kind of other incentives that you're doing around electricity or any other sustainability pieces that?
I think we've had this when we've spoken before about Plateful. I think again, in an ideal world, sustainability would be top of restaurants and hospitality's list. But in a world, hospitality's in its darkest place. It has been in for years, ever maybe. You want to be, but it's quite hard because you've got to think about your surviving first. You've got to think about your margins. But I think a lot of sustainability is probably down to the suppliers and the wholesalers, like them reducing their packaging, using more economical package, reducing their packaging. So I think again, I said about being dictated to what you get. Yeah, okay, if our bun supplier started using too much packaging, we could say to them, guys, there's too much plastic packaging here. Could you use less, or we could use another supplier? But when you found a really good product, it's really hard to leave that. So yeah, but I'd say the suppliers and the wholesalers are working really hard on reducing that, because if you're not economical, you're not profitable anymore because people stop using you. So yeah, I think personally ourselves, we've reduced our packaging. So everything we use now, we have plastic like fast food trays with just greaseproof liners in. We used to serve all our food in burger boxes, so we've reduced the amount of waste we produce now. We've reduced our bin weight. All our packaging's recyclable, and yeah, pretty much.
What are the other, you mentioned there, like hospitality kind of being in I guess down and low. What do you reckon the other challenges you're facing? What are the hardest challenges you're facing?
Costs. Yeah, costs are the biggest thing.
Costs are, they are.
I'd say, like, from when we started,
30%.
all our produce is 30% more expensive than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Start again, like, it's great that we're increasing minimum wage as well. It's great because people will spend more money, but also there's not much support. Like, business hospitality losing money at both ends now as well. Staff costs going up, but also our margins are getting
literally.
So that's probably the biggest cost. Is just the biggest struggle is cost, and the margins are just getting small. We're great because we're a high volume business that's pretty popular.
Yeah.
But our margins are being hit. Definitely.
How are you overcoming them? Any kind of like tips out there for anyone kind of starting their own burger joint or with their own coffee shop? How are you facing into those challenges?
Just crying every night.
Yeah. The only thing we get, like, we speak to our wholesaler regularly about pricing.
The relationships you build with people, for instance, our beef price hasn't gone up in 4 years. I think it's gone up 50p.
Yeah.
And that's because of the relationship from a local, for locals is aware that would have gone. I know that would have gone anywhere else. Yeah. That would have gone up. I mean, it's gone up a little bit, but you build those local relationships with people, and you manage to keep the prices nice as long as you can.
Yeah, and I guess that is one of the power of using locally sourced, because they know their challenges, because they have the same relationships.
20% off down at the greengrocers, all those. all those little things.
I'd say, I mean, obviously reducing wastage, that helps massively as well. You can save tens of thousands of pounds a year reducing wastage, but the one thing we're obsessive here, I'd say, is just increasing sales. We've been open 2 years now. We've never rested on our laurels. Every single week, we're constantly like a little bit addicted to it, going, right, how can we get more people through the door? We do monthly specials. We drop random
bi-weekly specials.
Bi-weekly specials.
The PBJ will fly out here and there, and
we try and tempt people on Instagram, lunch offers, and it's never, I don't think my brain and yours as well.
Just a continuous puzzle.
Yeah, it is. Every single week we are thinking, how can we get more people through the door?
What can we improve on the menu? How can we service improvements?
We serve a couple of hundred people a day, so if everyone, getting them all to spend £1 more, if we can get everyone to spend £1 more, that could be 50 grand a year more revenue. So little things like trying to increase the average sale per person, front of house training to help them upsell guys, not just upsell, but also improving their experience as well. Because if people are greeted well, they might be more inclined to spend more money. So so as you said, it's never
tell a friend. Tell a friend when their meal's fantastic.
So that's there's not really much you can do with cost wise at the moment. You just got to kind of suck it up. But if you can increase your sales and keep your customers coming back, then that's probably the best thing to fight it.
Yeah, because it moves nicely on actually, because you do kind of I've seen you do experience nights. I guess it's burger. It was burger focused.
Yeah.
But you did a pairing night.
Yes, we've done 2 of those now, which are good fun. Where we transitioned the menu into a fine dining and paired with wines from Weaving Teca, which is just over there.
I think it's down to, again, that's relationships with other brands and doing stuff different, which gains traction on social media.
I couldn't get a ticket; it was that busy.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't necessarily create that much revenue, but we might have got 5 guys that were customers at Weaving Teca. They might come to Cawsburger now.
Yeah.
And there's just 5 customers, but that makes a difference. We've got a collab coming up in November with an Italian deli in Bedford. They've got 10,000 followers. If we can gain 50 new customers from that direction, and if they gain 50 back, then it's 50 new customers each. So so it's constantly working with other people to kind of gain new followers, gain new customers, and share and help with other businesses as well.
And do you think that's kind of anyone that's kind of wanting to start their own burger joint? Do you think that is kind of the way to go? You can't just be, his burgers. That's all we do. You have to kind of think outside the box.
You got to be different.
Yeah. It's the experience as well. Yeah. It's definitely down. It's the brands. There's plenty of really good burger places around, but I would say, don't sound arrogant, they're not as busy as us, because I feel like when you come through these doors, you get the full experience. And there's not many places where you sit and eat our food isn't cheap because we use really good produce and they're some of the best burgers around, but a double burger can cost you £16. You're eating out of a fast food basket, listening to Britney Spears. Most places serving £17 burgers will be in a fancy restaurant on a plate, so we like to think we're different from that, and it's relaxed. You can come in here, you can have a table of women sat there who are about to go on a night out in Hitchin dressed up to the nines, or you can have 2 guys sat in their tracksuits here that just popped out and grabbed a burger. So there's not many places where you can kind of get that vibe.
You cater to every especially in the evenings. You can have like you say, girls going out, you can have 2 lads in tracksuits.
Yeah.
Just finished the gym, and you can have a husband and wife with the 2 children there, and you get literally hitting every demographic.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of burgers as well. Burgers are forever. That's why we did it. I mean, burgers aren't my favourite food. Burgers aren't Matt's favourite foods. And again, it is a business, and this is why I would say don't necessarily try and turn your hobby into a business. You like doing more not fine dining. You like barbecuing. You like doing more refined dishes and stuff. This isn't what you'd cook at home.
No.
It's not what I'd cook at home. Yeah, I just think. Again, I've had lots of ideas, but I would advise people to not necessarily turn a hobby into a business, because This isn't a hobby. This isn't a hobby for me. I didn't cook burgers in my garden for fun because I enjoyed it.
No.
And neither did you. We discovered that there was a gap in the market outside of London for a really good London-style burger joint, and we went with it. We didn't go, like my favourite food's tacos, but but they're not everybody eats tacos.
Yeah.
Everybody eats burgers,
Yeah.
and we just found that would be the best product to have to have high sales, because everybody eats it. Your grandma eats it. Your kids eat it. We do vegetarian offerings, so that it's food for everyone, and it's affordable as well. So yeah, if you are going to look at start business, make sure there's a gap in the market for it in your area, and you're not just doing it just because you like making burgers. Make sure there's some actual
I like doing whatever food you like doing.
Yeah.
Don't open it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice. I guess it's obviously working. You're doing really well. Where do you see Cawsburger in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Honestly, you wouldn't really know at the moment, would you? And there's the ideas of where you'd like it to be, but again, we go back to the costs and the margins.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. They have changed dramatically in the last 2, 3 years. I think the idea, our main aim would be obviously to replicate this with more sites. Up to 5, 6, I think, is where we have always had our minds.
As far as we can take it.
As far as we can take it, as far as it should be taken as well. I guess we learn that when the time comes to go. Cawsburger's good now.
But yeah, it goes back to costs as well. Like when we were getting this place built, our project manager was like, "Oh, if you'd have done this 2 years ago, this would cost you 20% less." And we're like, "Oh, wicked! Thanks for letting us know." So yeah, so
now doing it now, I
yeah.
guarantee it's probably 20% more than what we did 2 years ago.
I think when our first 6 months, when we were like, we're still flying now. Our sales have pretty settled now. Obviously, the first few months were crazy. We were like, right, bosh, we can grow fast. And it's reality's hit us now. We did a pop up in St Albans in a kitchen there. The logistics of that were really difficult. Costs of insurance for subletting, also but our margins are tighter now, so we're still paying off finances from opening up this place. So we're kind of realising, going, right, mate, each site might need 3 years now. So we've got an industrial unit in Stevenage which is ready to go as to be a prep kitchen for future sites. So all the sauces would be made there and delivered to each site to help consistency. So that's kind of like our basis.
We put down some foundations, haven't we? And for the moment, that's focusing on here.
Yeah, but over the last year, we've noticed the cash isn't building up as much. So we're like, well, maybe Matt and I have now come back into the business more to reduce costs, but also try and improve the standards. Yeah. And we've kind of agreed that it might take us, whereas we thought we could open one a year, we obviously got a little bit carried away. It might take another 2 years before we get the next place open. Yeah. And some build up some cash here.
And you've got the food truck. Do you do that's like for events, and do you do like street food? Because I know obviously Hitchin's really big for the street food events. Is that what that's for, or is it
the truck? Yeah, the truck.
I love the truck.
Buy a street food truck. They said it would be fun. They said
it'd be easy. They said.
We bought it last November. Got delivered in February, and it is now nearly September, and it's still not up and running.
No.
Which
again comes down to finances,
and but also bad luck.
And bad luck. So it's bad luck, and
it was a big American truck. The weight of it, registering it, things we didn't know, took months and months longer than we thought. So we had lots of events booked.
And then we then just started missing the events while we were cancelling. And you think, well, we can't really invest any more money in this truck right now, because by the time it's done, the event season will be over. We're not going to get any weddings. No one's going to get us in for a 3-month wedding. Yeah. We just made the decision to pull off that.
But
for a little bit. I mean, it's still sitting there. It's an asset for the company. It's not going anywhere.
We bought it for marketing purposes. Yeah, okay, we might be able to make a good amount of revenue on it, but we're going to kind of use it as other brands have. the big festivals, they look great on paper, but the pitch fees are expensive. They're 4 hours away, nowhere near your demographic. So our focus is on taking them to local towns, popping up at wet-led pubs, smaller festivals to push people towards here that might not know about us. I mean, it's great. Like we've 26,000 followers on Instagram, but I still have people come through this door. Maybe 30% of people say I've never been here before, which is great news for us. Yeah. So there's an untapped market locally still. So we don't necessarily need to go too far to send more people here, but also the business plan we had for this place was doing a year at Groundworks with no committed rent. So now we can take that truck to, say we want to go to, we're looking at Hartford, Bedford, we can go there for a year of the truck and build up a fan base, build up a following, and then it's lower risk if we want to invest in a restaurant there as well.
Yeah, nice. Great. One thing I think there's been a load of insight into there. One thing I tried to kind of end the pod on is your 2 don'ts, 3 do's. So what are the kind of like, if anyone out there who listens to this pod and wants to set up their own coffee shop or burger joint, what are the kind of like, I guess, advice? So the 2 don'ts, 3 do's you'd pass on to them.
You'll do it each.
2 don'ts, 3 do's. Yeah, go on.
Can you go?
No.
Don't
buy a food truck.
Yeah.
Back up.
I would say the don'ts are.
I think one thing you're going to do, if you're going to do it well, and actually don't skimp on things. That's the one reason this went well, was because we didn't skimp.
And you can see the quality.
It was done properly. It was done very well by Colin Hill, a local restaurant builder, I guess would be the.
Yeah, if you're going to do it properly, I'll say don't just go with your first idea. Don't believe in yourself too much. Have a bit of doubt, and because if you have an idea and you believe in it too much, you can be a bit blinkered to outside noise. I mean, I've had hundreds of ideas for business over the years, and I kind of try and qualify them out rather than qualify them in. And this was one where I couldn't really. It's probably the first business or idea that there weren't many negatives to it. We couldn't really think what would go after the pop-up at Groundworks. I couldn't think what would go wrong. We had a customer base in a town. We could never see it going wrong. It actually went better than we first thought. Our sales are higher than we first ever believed. So, another do is find a gap in the market. Don't just start a business because you like it. Make sure that's what
hobbies are for in theory.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to turn every hobby into a business. You can just enjoy a hobby. Do make sure there's a gap in the market and there's a market for it. Test it out. But if you want to open up a cocktail bar or something, find a coffee shop. Coffee shops are great, or like garden centres, because their kitchens are shut at night. They're not in use. Speak to local coffee shops. Rent the kitchen from them a couple of nights a week or one night a week and test it. Don't know. And then another don't expect it to be easy. There you go.
That's a good one.
Well, because when the first 6 months, I mean, it was hard work, but it was easy. Like the burgers were selling, money was coming in. But there are lots of twists and turns and tails down the line as well. And it's now reality's kind of kicked in.
There's a lot of invoices.
Yeah, a lot of invoices.
In theory, you don't realise how many invoices and the cost of what it is actually going to. The cost to do this. You probably won't realise until you need to do a lot of research on that because it goes out as quickly as it comes in sometimes.
Yeah, and the funny, I don't know if you get this, but I've got mates that are like, we'll go out for food and I'll be like, should we split this? And like, your Cawsburger's doing amazing. You must have loads of money. I'm like, no, actually, I'm actually earning less money than when I was in sales. So there isn't. That's why we're trying to grow Cawsburger, because the reason we did it, we didn't do it just because we wanted to have a lifestyle business. I'd say my lifestyle is great, but we do want to earn a lot of money and be comfortable for life. So we could just settle on this for the rest of our lives, but we want to take it bigger. We want to
And we've got
earn more money.
aspirations for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's-
And I'd say if you are looking to make good money out of it, one site won't do that. You do need to take it further. One site's enough for a nice, comfortable life and to have a lifestyle business. But yeah, if you are looking to make good money out of it, there's a long way to it. I think the industry works off 8% net margins. So yeah, everything. Every £10 you spend, we keep about 6 to 8% of that. That's what's left in our pockets afterwards. So yeah, it's not massive.
No, it's tight.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one more final do.
I'd say do use social media wisely. I know we mentioned that Instagram's tougher now, but it is a free marketing tool, and if you get it right, it can be. Cawsburger wouldn't be a business if it wasn't for Instagram.
No, it wouldn't at all.
Yeah,
No,
it wouldn't be a thing. So yeah, if you can use social media wisely, then I see a lot of people trying to go, oh, this person's got a lot of likes of that, I'm going to copy that. If anything, what happens is if you decide to copy that, I guarantee by the time you've done that,
by the time you got there, it's already moved on.
1 million people have copied it, and you're actually just a sheep now. Do something different, like try look at what other people are doing and go, right, I'm gonna do the complete opposite of that, and then try and gain followers that way.
That's what Yeti did.
Yeah, do something different.
That's what Yeti did.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's it, yeah. So, guys, lots of insight in there. If you want to come down and see Charlie and Matt at Cawsburger, they're down in Hitchin. Open
Tuesday to Sunday.
Yeah, Tuesday to Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, come down and see them. Burgers are great, trust me. And when the PB&J's back on, you definitely want to come and try that.